Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, how are you? I hope you are going through the lectures and understanding them in very well way. Today we are going to discuss about the known receptors site. The key concepts are what are the receptors, what are different types of receptors, and functions of receptors, where they are located or location of receptors. First of all, what are receptors? Receptors are in fact the proteins in nature, and usually they are also called as cell surface receptors or receptors locating on the surface inside the target cell or on its surface that receive a chemical signal. It means that receptors are responsible for receiving any chemical signal or stimuli, and they may be present inside of the target cell or may be present on its surface. And receptors bind to the ligands and thus cause responses in immune system. And this includes cytokine receptor, growth factor receptors, and Fc receptors most proficiently and prominently. And Fc receptor stands for fragment crystallization, and these receptors can be found in various immune cells. Like the type of the immune cells are B cells, T cells, NK cells. NK cells mean natural killer cells, and they are an important part of immune system. And mainly the NK cells are lymphocytes, or they are the type of white blood cells, and monocytes and stem cells as well. And receptors, along with the ligands, uh, these two terminologies are very important in medicinal chemistry in order for the therapeutic action of any drug to be exhibited or to be studied. A molecule that binds to a receptor is called ligand. It means that any type of the molecule which will bind with the receptor is called ligand. And this ligand may be the peptide, short chain, or small size protein, or another small molecule such as neurotransmitter. There are many neurotransmitters in the body which are responsible for the signal transmittance, and which may be the any molecule which is related to the hormone. And it may also be a pharmaceutical drug or any toxin which may be taken as the medicine, or which may be uh, engulfed or incorporated in this system of in the form of food or water, or the parts of outside of a virus or the microbes as well, which can also bind to the receptors. Here is the overall function of the Fc receptor. And Fc receptors are the fragment crystallization, and their contribution is towards the protective function of immune system. And mainly Fc receptor binds to the antibodies, and when they are attached with the pathogens or infected cells, and then their activity stimulates the process of cytotoxicity or destroying of microbe or the infected cell or the pathogen. Then in this diagram or figure, you can see the antibodies are attached with the uh, you can say Fc receptors, and the microbes body are now the engulfed or taken into the site of the Fc receptor, and the process of the you can say the toxicity, cytotoxicity, or the phago toxicity starts, and the microbe cells are going to be destroyed by the combined action of the antibody and the Fc receptor as well. And when a ligand binds to the corresponding receptor, it activates or inhibits the receptor's associated biochemical pathway. It means just like the enzyme, to the enzyme, the substrate can be bind or any other competitor, which leads to the competitive inhibition or non-competitive. Such type of the molecule may be bind to the active site of the enzyme or towards its backbone. Similarly, the ligand molecule can bind with the receptor, and they can simultaneously, they can its probability they can activate it or inhibit the certain process which the receptor was going to be takes place in the normal routine. That means that the biochemical pathway after binding of a ligand with the receptor can be changed, and the receptor can induce cell growth, cell division, and cell death as well, and the control membrane channels or regulate cell bindings. And many small cations, they can pass through these channels, membrane channels, and this all is the function of the which is controlled by the receptors. And receptor thus play an important role in the signal transduction. Then what's the signal transduction? It is the transmission of the molecular signal from a cell's exterior to its interior one. And immune therapy and the immune responses to build the immune responses, and to fight against the pathogen, fight against certain disease, to kill the process of the rapid cell division, like in case of the tumor or the cancer buildup. Here is the overall scheme or the representation of the different classes of the sensory receptors, which are very important receptors which are present in our body. And the sensory receptor cell, they differ in terms of overall their appearance, morphology, and their location in the body, and the stimuli which affect them or which cause them to build the response. Here you can see the different receptors. These some of the receptors, like first A1, they have the open free nerve endings, while in case of B, C, and D, the nerve endings are not the free one; they are the encapsulated nerve endings. And along with they have a ganglion, and which consists of the glia cells. And my next question is, what's the glia cell? Glia cell in fact surrounds the neurons, and they provide support. Thus, they are the supportive cell in the nervous system. And definitely they differ in their morphology, and overall the uh, different receptors, they have different functions to perform in the body, but they all are connected to the central nervous system in order to build the uh, clean, clear, and rapid pathway between the point of point at which the different stimuli cause the receptor to respond or to show certain effect, and also the connect with the brain and infect the overall central nervous system. And sensory receptors, they can be classified by the type of the stimuli that generate a response in the receptor, and they respond to one of the four primary stimuli, which may be the chemical. Therefore, the receptors are called chemoreceptors. Temperature, if the temperature is going to produce the response, then they are called the thermoreceptor. Pressure, like mechanoreceptors, and light, uh, the receptor will be the photoreceptors. And the location for the sensory receptor is, which may be the cutaneous receptor, which are found in the dermis and the epidermis of the skin, and the muscle spindles, which contain the mechanoreceptor. And these mechanoreceptors, they detect mainly the stretching in the muscles. And next is the morphology of the sensory receptor. And the somatic sensory receptor near the surface of the skin can usually be divided into two groups. The receptors which have the free nerve ending and the receptors which have the encapsulated receptors or the endings. It means that they don't have the free endings. And the important receptors are the growth receptors. And there are many different receptors which are present in our body, and they all are there to carry out specific function in the body. As the name indicates, the growth factor receptor, it means that such type of the response factors or the receptors are responsible for the uh, cells elongation, cell development, and differentiation process. Therefore, the growth factors and their receptor play an important role in the regulation of the cell division, how much the cell division will be carried out, to which extent the cell should be elongated and differentiated in terms to produce or build the different you can say tissues or develop into different organs. And the growth factor receptors includes neurotrophin receptor, epinephrine receptor, insulin-like growth receptors, which are called IGF receptor, epidermal growth receptors, fibroblast, platelet-derived growth receptors, and vascular endothelial growth factor receptors. It means these all are factors or the receptors. They all are responsible or involved in the cell division, development, and the differentiation in order to build different specific function or the morphologies which the cell or the tissues has to be carried out. Next is the cytokine receptor. The patterns of expression of the cytokine receptor are a product of differentiation and provide for changes in the physiological regulation. And these cytokine receptor enable cells to communicate with the extracellular environment by responding to the certain signal which are generated in the nearby, in the vicinity, or the other parts of the organism. It means that these cytokine receptors, they are responsible for building up of you can say the complete pathway or the platform in order that there's there must be the physiological regulation in the body when the stimuli uh, produce the action in some you can say the extracellular or outside the cell. It produce a certain you can say response. Then the signals will be generated in their whole part or near the cells in order that to give a complete you can say the physiological regulation. Thus, the initial binding of the cytokines to their receptors is a key event. It means that their cytokines first, the first step for the cytokine receptor is the initial binding of these cytokines molecule to their receptor, and that definitely occurs very rapidly and at a very low cytokine concentration is usually virtually irreversible. It means that if the cytokines are bind to the receptor, it can't be reversible. It means that it irreversible process and cytokine remain bound to the receptors and leads to the intracellular changes resulting in the biological response. Then there must be comes out into in your mind that what are the cytokines. And cytokines are definitely the secreted messenger molecules. Like here in this picture, the different uh, cells are responsible to produce the cytokines, and they act on their target cells by binding specific membrane receptors. And many cell functions are regulated by the members of the cytokine receptors mediated intracellular signaling mechanism as well. And the classification of cytokine receptor is based on the structural homologies of the extracellular cytokine binding domains. And therefore, after producing from the different cells, these cytokines, then they are bound to the target cell, and therefore you can see in the diagram that the signal, uh, how they are produced, and how the cytokines, they are bound towards their specific receptors, and therefore the target cell will produce its resultant effect. Next are the B cell receptors, and B cells, also called B lymphocytes. And when such type of the lymphocytes, it means that they must have some blood type, blood cells type origin, and therefore the B cells, they develop in the bone marrow of the most of the mammals, and that circulates in the blood and the lymphatic system as well. It means that in your blood, in your lymph, there is uh, movement or the circulation of the B type cells, which are the lymphocytes, is also present. And one of the main function of the B cell is antibody production, and it means that their response or building of response is towards the immune system, regulation in immune system, protection in the body. And you know the what's the mechanism of antigen and antibody. You must go through what are the antigens, how antibodies are produced in response to the antigen, and how they are involved in building up the immune system in the body. And therefore the B cells is the main function is to produce the antibody, and which aids in adaptive immunity, and thus the complement activation and induction of the allergic responses. It means that when there is some allergens, which may be any chemical, which may be any insect, pollens, then there is function of B cells to produce the response, and therefore there is activation of these cells, and there is a building up of some responses in response, or you can say in the presence of such type of the allergen stimuli. Next are the T cell receptors, and T cells are lymphocytes, immune cells, and that protect the body from the pathogens and cancer cells as well. It means that by God gifted and by nature, there is offense and defense systems is already present in the body, which definitely defend the body against multiple pathogens, insects, many allergens, many chemicals, fumes, vapors, which are present in our vicinity, which are present in our environment, or the location, or the place where we live. And the T cell antigen receptors, which are called the TCR, is the principal defining marker of all T cell. It means that the T cell antigen receptor, it's the principal one, it's the main key type receptor. And also it is associated with the TCR is a complex of protein which is known as CD3. It means that with TCR there is association, or there is relationship with a complex protein set which is CD3, and CD3 stands for cluster of differentiation 3. And in the next position there is CD4. It means that it's the cluster of differentiation 4, and it's the complex or the group of the proteins, and which participate in the transduction of the intracellular signal following TCR binding to its cognate MHC antigen complex. And MHC stands for major histocompatibility complex, and these are the group of genes uh, that codes for these proteins, and therefore, what's the role? Its role is to participate in the signal transduction of the intracellular origin, and therefore following TCR binding to the MHC and the antigen complex. And with the help of the chemokine receptors, HIV binds CD4 or the cluster of differentiation 4, and therefore it will penetrate cis nucleic acid into the host cell, and this causes CD4 T cell destruction, and the immune system will be collapses due to the effect of the HIV binding with the CD4 cluster of differentiation of protein, which belongs to the complex proteins, and therefore here is the role of how HIV binds to the CD4 and CD3 and CD4. These two protein complexes are very important for the proper functioning of the T cell, how they are stimulated, how they give the response, and in order to build the, you can say, the immunity or the immune responses in the body. Next is granulocyte receptors. And granulocyte means the name is derived from the granules. It means that granulocyte uh, is a type of immune cells that has the granules with the enzymes released during the process of infections. It means that when the body is infected, and allergic reactions and the asthma. Asthma is also due to the presence of many allergens in our air, and therefore these are the granulocytes. These immune cells will be produced in the body naturally, and a granulocyte um is a type of the white blood cells, and you can make a list of white blood cells which are present in the body, and there are multiple types of the white blood cells which are present in the body, and they're all the time their mechanism is to protect the body from the different harmful stimuli which produces certain types of the infections, and the neutrophils and the basophils and the eosinophils. These are the three different forms of the granulocytes which are produced as a type of the immune cells in the body. And the granulocytes are the crucial players in the innate and the adaptive immunity that express a large number of the cell surface receptor for the recognition of the pathogen and invasion and the inflammatory environment. It means that what's written over here, that the main function of these such type of the immune cells is to produce the adaptive immunity in the body. It means that if some pathogens or infected cells it target our body, then their function is to how the body will respond to these such type of the stimuli, and therefore it express a large number of the cell surface receptors, and therefore the cell surface receptor, they will be quite active, and therefore they recognize these such type of the invaded pathogens or the external bodies which are going to produce the infections or the diseases in our body, and those include G protein coupled chemokine receptors, Fc receptors, various cytokine receptors, as well as innate immune receptors such as the toll-like receptors and C-type lectins. It means that these all are types of different receptors uh, which are um, uh, which are the part of the immune system, And when how they are released during the process of infection, and the infection may be due to the certain exterior, you can say, microorganisms, and due to the allergic reactions, due to certain chemicals, due to some fumes, due to, you can say, some pollens, or some people are allergic due to the paint, varnishes, such type of the smells. Some people are very, you can say, sensitive to the temperature fluctuations, and therefore, and the asthma patient, which is going through permanently the, you can say, the infections which is related to the lungs and whole ear, nose, and throat, such type of infections. Next is ion channel linked receptors. It means that these receptors, they are linked to which? Ion channels. Ion channels mean there are some passage, there is some, you can say, pathway or the narrow linings through which the ions can pass. It means that such receptors are linked with the ion channels, and these ion channels are responsible for the movement, for the migration, or for the transfer of the ions. And therefore the ion channel linked receptor bind a ligand. And ligand mean, in this case, ligand may be, you may be, okay, it can be certain proteins, it can be certain drug molecules, it may be any chemical toxin. And therefore, and it opens a channel through the membrane that allows the specific ions to pass through it. And these ion channels are, they are very quite smart, they are very sensitive, their selectivity and specificity is very high, and only if there is a specific ion like sodium, potassium, if it's in their vicinity, then they will allow the such channels to open up and therefore pass such type of ions. It means that the ion channels definitely they will linked, which are linked with such type of the receptor, they will definitely bind a ligand, and therefore these specific ions will be passed through them. And to form a channel, this type of the cell surface receptor has an extensive membrane spanning region. Therefore, in order to interact with the phospholipid fatty acid tails, here's the structure of the cell plasma membrane, that they all are consist of phospholipids, fatty acids in their structure, and these, phospholipids, fatty acids are, they are, don't like the water molecule. They are definitely hydrophobic in nature, and in order to interact with the phosphofatty acid tails that form the center of the plasma membrane, many of the amino acid in the membrane spanning regions, spanning means from side to side, region, are hydrophobic in nature. And conversely, the amino acid that line the inside of the channel are hydrophilic to allow for the passage of the water or the ions. It means that they facilitate the passage of the water or the ions, because the hydrophobicity, or you can say, hydrophobicity means that the whole blood, and is responsible, which is responsible for the migration of the molecules, drugs, and ions. And therefore, the hydrophilicity is very important in order for the passage of the ions, because these ions bears a charge, and the water molecule itself, they are the polar in nature. And when a ligand binds to the extracellular region of the channel, and there is conformational change in the protein structure, and when there is change in the conformation or the overall appearance or the 3D structure of the protein, it will then allow the ions like sodium, calcium, magnesium, and hydrogen to pass through it. It means that here overall, like the role of the phospholipid fatty acid, amino acids, and therefore the cell overall, like the proteins or the ligands, their conformational change is very important. And unless or until there is not the conformational change in the protein structure, it will not allow such type of the ligands like sodium potassium to bind with the these such type of receptors and pass through the ion channels. It means that ion channel linked receptor, they are responsible for the passage of the ions like sodium, potassium, magnesium. And you know the cations are important in our body. Our body have the many gated channels and voltage build up regions which consist of mainly the cations, and anion presence is very less in our body. Here is the overall picture of the channels or the receptors which are responsible for the passage or the migration of the ions. And like the signaling molecule is present, and it signaling molecule binds to the binding site. And here is the whole red and blue yellow part is the, in fact, the membrane. And the cell membrane consists of many fatty acids, lipids, and cholesterol molecules as well. It means that overall the membrane is very it is lipophilic in nature but hydrophobic as well. And therefore certain ions which wants to pass through these channels. Therefore when these signaling molecules will bind, they will allow the ions, yes, to pass through, as the passage will be open up. Therefore such type of the ions, they can move from one cell to another, or from, you can say, if they are present outside of the cell, from the extracellular to the intracellular, in order to produce certain functions like sodium, potassium. These are very important to keep the voltage or the balance in our body. Next is the G protein linked receptors. It means that the receptor which are linked with the G protein. And G protein, G is derived from the guanosine, like the GTP, GTP, guanosine diphosphate, guanine, and the guanosine triphosphate, and so on. And G proteins, what are the G proteins? G protein belongs to the large group of the enzymes which are called GTases. And their function is how they work between GDP and GTP, and they stand for the guanosine diphosphate and the guanosine triphosphate. And some form of the G protein are activated, other one are inactivated. They are consist of the three small fragments, like you will see in the next slide. And G protein linked receptor bind a ligand and activate a membrane protein which is called G protein, and the site for the binding of most of the drug. It means that yes, the G protein receptors, they are very important for the drug binding, and therefore for drug molecule, they provide the room to exhibit their therapeutic action. And the activated G protein then interact with either an ion channel or an enzyme in the, which is located in the membrane. And all G protein linked receptors have seven trans membrane domains, but each receptor has its own specific extra cellular domain and G protein binding site. It means that there are different G protein linked receptors in our body, and they have different transmembrane domains. Domains mean regions, and that each receptor has its own specific extracellular outside of the cell. Its domain is specific, and G protein binding site, that site is also different one. And cell signaling using G protein linked receptors occur as a cyclic series of events, like here is the overall cycle steps. And before the ligand binding, it means that if the ligand is not binding, the G protein will be the inactive. The inactive G protein can bind to the newly revealed site on the receptor, which is specific for its binding. And once the G protein binds to the receptor, the resultant shape change activates the G protein, and therefore, when G protein will be activated, it releases GTP, and therefore it will picks up GTP. It means that when G protein is binding to the receptor, and receptor after binding the receptor, it will activate it, and therefore it will release the GTP, and again it will pick up the GTP. And there are three subunits of G protein, and the subunits of G protein then splits up into that alpha subunit and the beta subunits. And in the next slide, you can see that it has the three um, subunits, alpha, beta, and gamma. But alpha became separated from the gamma and beta one. And when alpha is separated, then it's responsible for the activation, deactivation, and binding of the GTP, and the you can say the removing of GTP, and again binding with the GTP, and so on. Therefore, once the G protein binds to the receptor, the resultant shape changes, and G protein is activated, and therefore it will release the GTP. And one or both of these G proteins fragment may be able to activate the other proteins as a result. And later, the GTP on the active alpha unit of the G protein is hydrolyzed to give the GTP. And when GTP is hydrolyzed, it gives the guanosine diphosphate and inorganic phosphate group. And the beta unit is then deactivated, and the subunit reassociated to form the inactive G protein, and the cycle will start over. Here's the overall picture that the G protein coupled receptor, and here you can see the subunits of G protein, and alpha is binding with the GTP, and when the signaling molecule bind with the G protein coupled receptor, then G protein alpha subunit exchanges GTP for GTP. Therefore, you can see GTP wants to come here, and GTP will be removed. And it comes only when the signaling molecule will be attached with the G protein. And when G protein at some location of the G protein, signaling molecule is attached, and therefore the GTP is released and GTP is attached. When GTP is attached, then there is change in the conformation of the subunit, and therefore the alpha subunit is segregated or dissociated from the beta and gamma one, and therefore it will causes the cellular response, and therefore cellular response will be generated when GTP became attached with the alpha, and gamma and the beta are the get separated. Therefore, after giving the response, the GTP is hydrolyzed to give the again GDP, an inorganic phosphate. When it will be hydrolyzed, again it will be GTP. It means that it will again attain this such type of the conformation, and therefore the cycle will start from the inactivation towards the activation, and therefore the production of the responses in the cell. Here are some question about the assignments, that what chemicals can be used to internalize the receptor present on the cell surface, and interpret the beta uh, adrenergic And for second question, you have to prepare. You have to interpret the beta adrenergic receptors and beta blockers. And for the we will discuss later on some other receptors, which are mainly responsible for the binding the drug molecule, and they will be the ligand gated ion channels, tyrosine kinase coupled, intracellular steroid, and the G protein coupled receptor. They are also important, and today we have discussed them. And therefore, the known receptor sites, yes, they are very important in order to get the information where the drug molecule will be bind towards the receptors and how it will cause its impact. It's all about today's lecture, and best wishes, student.